I wanted to ask you the same thing that
Mm.
you have just passed through that broke. You were broke on that time.
Yeah.
Was it the first time to be
Oh
broke?
no, no, this would have 100 times. Proudly saying it, which I really hope a lot of people are open about what they go through,
Yes.
because I've had a lot of failures. I failed
Mm-hmm.
a lot. For somebody my age,
Uh-huh.
I've definitely failed a lot.
And when you fail for the first time, you just learn and move on? Or what do you do just to get up from that failure?
The first thing I do is I admit that I failed.
Okay.
So, for example, the Oman journey, I sat with myself around September-ish,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, Dali, you have failed.
Mm.
And I think confronting yourself is the hardest thing that you
Yeah,
can do, because
that's true.
nobody likes to say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I screwed up. I'm like, you failed, you made the wrong decision.
Okay.
But you're here now. So there's two ways. We either sink or we swim.
Yeah.
And, it plays in the head like the worst case scenarios, because your mind's always playing, worst case scenarios, or you're going to be out in the street with your bag,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to have to find a plane back home. Now, there was no planes back home. That was the
That time,
problem.
yes, I remember those times. Yeah, the lockdown everywhere.
Big
Yes.
time. So, and I chose to swim with
Mm-hmm.
no plan in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I see people these days spending so much time planning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, just take the first step
Mm-hmm.
and let it flow.
Then it will flow itself.
It's
No
like
need
a
of
domino
planning
effect.
much. You're using 90% of time planning and then 10% implementation. Then it doesn't work. You have
100%.
just lost a lot of time back there.
Even now with my business partner, I always tell her, okay, you know what, you can plan. I'm going to go do it. And then call me when you're done planning. And we have a laugh about it. And then she's like, okay, let's just do it. Just do it and see how we go. Because I'm 5% planner and I'm 5% of a doer.
What keeps you rising up? Because after you fail, what keeps you going on?
Two things. The first thing is to be a model for girls like me that grew up in the same environments that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up in a beautiful country, but I was not the luckiest or nor the most blessed in terms of, I didn't come from a rich family. I didn't come from an upbringing where everything was given. I started working at 14.
Okay.
I worked in a coffee shop, then I got promoted to a cashier, and I got promoted to, like, for me, it's like promotional levels. And looking back now, I'm thinking, geez, I've got nearly 20 years experience. Looking at my CV, I'm like, wow. So I want to be that role model for girls like me who are looking, young girls, who are looking at becoming something, because I came from nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
And now to be where I am, I think the higher, the bigger you get, the more humble you become, because you come from a humble beginning.
That's true.
And that's what I want these young women these
To
days.
learn
And
about,
that's
yes.
where I started the Women Empowerment Move.
Going to the women empowerment. Currently, you're a successful entrepreneur already. So what are you bothering? Why are you bothering yourself just going to these women empowerment things and movements in Oman?
If the best thing I can do as a person, forget about the entrepreneurship and the money and all the amazing success. If I'm not giving back, then I'm not successful. That's how I see it.
Okay.
If I got to where I am today because of my hard work and obviously with the support system, that's friends, family, then it's my turn now to give back. Now, what I noticed when I first moved to Oman, like I said, because I'm very social, I needed to be around social surroundings. Women were very hard to approach because the society is different, the culture is different. So, it's a very closed off environment. However, when I break off that wall with any woman I speak to, I always notice that they want that friendship. They want that growth. They want to be bigger and better, but they don't know how.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, well, let me fill that gap. Let's bring successful women together over high tea, over coffee, walk in the park, whatever it is, and let us interact and let us create a safe space. And when I started doing that, I've noticed that people open up because you open up as an individual. So I always start with my own, pain, vulnerability, experiences, because when you do that as a person, you automatically make the other individual feel safe. And I started to see women speak up and they say, this is what I went through and that's why I'm here today. And they're all extremely successful. I'm like, well, why not create something out of that? Why not make, a movement for women that are extremely, successful and doing so well? And let's bring the women that are not doing so well. They want to, but they don't know their pathway. So let's be that roadmap.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's hold their hand and move them from A to B. Because I am sick and tired of women competing. I'm like, now it's time that we complete each other. And
Yeah.
that's the lingo I go by.
Not competing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
We're
And
not competing.
it's very hard in Oman there to just run such a movement.
Yes, it is. It is.
How are you managing?
Good question. I have an amazing support system. I've got beautiful friends in Oman, which I'm so blessed to have. And for me right now, Oman is home.
Okay.
Like I'm based there, I live there, the whole environment makes me come back to life. And I personally found myself in Oman because my journey wasn't easy. I didn't land on, from the plane and go to the fancy apartment and have money rolling. That's not what happened. It was a huge journey. And then meeting these beautiful women along that journey made it so much easier. So they believe in what I do. And that's why they know that we can take this and make it a big deal. And my next focus is youth, is young women in schools, A lot of females, when they leave school or university, they don't know what to do. They don't have the right mentors. They don't have the right advice. So my job as a woman is to make sure that I guide them through that process. But I could never do it alone. I've obviously got an amazing support system around me. And it's growing by day, which is really good.
Okay.
However, it's quite challenging because, sadly, when we grow, we start to lose people. When we grow, a lot of jealousy, resentment comes into play. But this woman has thick skin.
Wow. Wow.
Does not get to me. If it does, I would have survived.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So in Oman there, I know about women, mostly they don't speak up.
Correct.
But you were courageous to speak it out.
Yes.
How did you start that movement? Because I'm still in there. How did you start that movement? Who encouraged you just to make that happen?
Well, the encouragement came from own experience. Because at one stage in my life, I was that woman that could not speak up. Because as an Arab woman or, an Iraqi woman, we were raised that you should not speak up.
That's the thing.
Your voice should be always low.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I had a lot of self-esteem issues and a lot of confidence issues, and people see me now and I'm like, I had self-esteem issues. No way. And I'm like, I did. I could not breathe a word out without like shaking and shivering and just being so afraid because I'm like, oh, that's going to get me in trouble. I'm not going to be liked. And, so it was so many fears, so many like negative programming.
Of course.
And that comes from the society, that comes from the environment we were in. It comes from everything that we're surrounded by. But we don't realize it. So when I went to Oman and I taught myself how to speak up, and then I noticed every time I'm speaking out, I'll be shaking on the inside. However, I always get a positive response. So I went, okay.
Yeah.
So that started to instill confidence in me.
Are you still also planning to do the same in Iraq also?
I would love to. The ultimate goal, yes, because I believe in the power of Iraqi women. They went through so much. My mother's generation, and even the generation now, my generation, and the ones after ours, all they've seen is war. Yet when you speak to these, women, they've got so much power and motivation, like a burning desire to do so well. So I would love to. I would love to, because that's where I come from.
Believing that you will do that.
I hope
and
so.
Now we are in Dubai, and you have a lot of stories to share. I don't know. I don't know how what can we leave, because there is a lot of things which we must have to talk about.
Yeah.
Talking about Dubai.
Yeah.
You're here in Dubai currently.
Yeah.
But I know it's not permanent.
No.
What do you love about Dubai? Because you have been here for some few days.
Correct. Dubai for me is land of opportunities. Every time I land in Dubai, I leave so inspired. Like, because every time I come in, there's something new. There's a new building, and there's like a new, coffee shop and a new restaurant and new people.
Yeah.
And every time I chat to people who live here, they're always so motivated to do well. And they're always, it's like running a race to be the best. However, you're always pulling people with you. So I always feel so inspired. It refreshes my soul. It's like, okay, I can do this. If they can do it in such a competitive environment, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm always so blessed. Every time I come to Dubai, I meet amazing personalities like yourself.
Thank you.
Amazing. Every time I've come in, I've just met amazing people who somehow helped me through my journey. And then we connect at a level where, okay, we can create something together.
Yes, that's true.
We vibe, everything works well. As well as the fun, the shopping. I don't appreciate the traffic very much.
Yes.
Because it's extremely busy, but that's part of a big
because
city.
It's busy. Everyone is investing here, and everyone is coming because also the return. The return of the investment is huge.
Big time.
Everyone knows that.
Big time.
Yeah,
The real
of
estate
course.
market here is on fire.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
don't be scared about this traffic, because when you see the traffic, knows that the money is rotating.
Oh, good, good. Okay, I did see a lot of money last night. That's for sure. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah,
So I can go back doing this now in Oman, walking around with
yeah,
this.
of course. I've just seen you on social media mostly. That's the place where I just met you the first time,
Yes.
and I was impressed on what
Thank
you were
you.
doing. That's why I said we must have to meet and talk at least,
Thank
so that you
you.
can
It's an
share.
honor.
Yes, you can share your inspiration to others, mostly women.
Correct.
I saw you again on a marathon thing, something like
Yes,
marathon.
the
Yeah.
Iron Man, the good old Iron Man. You know, it's so funny. When I posted that picture, a lot of people went, "Oh my God, how did you run and cycle and swim?" I went, "Hang on a second. This lady does not run, cycle, and swim. Let's backtrack." We were talking about volunteering earlier,
Yes.
and I just want to touch base on the power of volunteering. I started in the Ironman 70.3 Muscat as a volunteer.
Okay.
So when I first moved to Oman, my partner knows the guys that run the show, and he goes, "Oh, I know Iron Man from a long time ago, but I didn't really understand the concept of it." And I was like, "Okay, that's fun. I'm going to come watch." He goes, "Oh no, come volunteer." Now, as you know, as an Australian, volunteering's been instilled in us for many years. You know, we always
Okay.
volunteer in school and events. So I said, "Okay, I can do that." So I went, volunteered. I was handing out water to athletes, and we're having amazing conversations. You know,
Okay.
because you're looking at somebody that's doing a physical activity 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
So can you imagine the mental strength they have? Now, I'm always inspired by people who do well, because I'm like, there's something for me to learn.
Yes.
So I was speaking to these athletes and talking about, and all of, having amazing conversations, lots of food afterwards. And then the organizer happens to be a friend of ours. So I spoke to him, and he goes, "You like it?" I said, "Yeah." And then he saw how I was interacting. Again, goes to how, if you put yourself out there, opportunities come to you. How I was interacting with the athletes. And he said to me, "Maybe we can do something together." I went, "I'm not running if that's what you're asking for."
Because the thing which I was thinking,
Yeah.
those 42 kilometers, 30 kilometers.
It's a 2K swim, 90K cycle, 21K run non-stop.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
succeeded it.
I didn't do it. I made the
Okay.
decisions for them. So that's what it is. I started as a volunteer, and then the person who organizes it realized my potential. Then we had to have more conversations. So I went on the committee, and then
Yes.
slowly after that, I became part of the company. Now I run the show with him.
Wow.
So you start with something. So when you volunteer, you have no expectations, and that is the beauty of it. You always put yourself in something with no expectations.
That's true.
And then it stepped up. So now like they say, I have a seat in the big boys table as the only female.
Wow.
And that is such an honor for somebody like me. And I'm sure there's so many women that can do it, and they can do it 10 times better than me.
That's true.
But that's what it is. Putting myself out there has brought all these opportunities. So now I run the show.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Talking about women, because mostly you're empowering women and you have a chance to speak to them.
Correct.
This is the chance to speak to them.
Correct.
What can you tell mostly these young ladies who are growing up? Sometimes they've given up. They don't believe on their dreams because they have dreams, nothing to inspire them, just to succeed and achieve their goals.
Correct.
What can you tell them?
The biggest thing I would like, young women to know is that you are your biggest inspiration. Do not wait for anybody to be your inspiration. You just have to look within yourself and go, okay, what can I do to make my life a better life? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be something magnificent. But don't sit and wait to be inspired by somebody.
Okay.
Be your own inspiration. Be your own best friend. Be your own inspiration. Because when you learn how to inspire yourself and motivate yourself, then you start taking baby steps. Every day. Small step. 5 years from now, everything will change. You're up there. 10 years. It could be a year. And then the biggest thing is for people to also know is that when you grow, you have to let some people go, because they no longer sit on the same level as you, and that's okay. What scares a lot of young women in particular is, if I'm going to do well and my best friend is not doing well, then I'm going to lose that friendship. It's okay. If they can't come up with you,
just drop
you don't have to run in a pack. You can always run alone. So just be your own inspiration. And if you can't, then find a mentor. And I'm so blessed to have amazing friends who are mentors as well.
I think you can be a mentor to many people.
I would love to,
Yeah.
definitely. That's definitely one of my goals.
Yes,
Because then
not
just
only
sharing
women.
that with them and seeing them grow makes me happy.
That's true. Not
Yeah.
only women. I believe that even men. There are a lot of men
Yeah, they do a
out
lot
there.
of, they need help, don't they? A lot of men.
I've seen them there. I've seen them there. And also,
Yeah.
this is the last one because I think we could stay here for almost a day.
We can. We're having an amazing time. Yeah.
Public speaking. Again, you are doing everything.
Yes.
I like the thing from you that you don't you're not scared, you're not afraid, you don't hesitate. When you have something to do, you just pull yourself in there.
Correct.
Public speaking.
Yes. My favorite part.
What
My goal is to do a TED talk, and I know I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Don't know which country yet, but I'm sure I will. So public speaking started at a very young age. My first speech was my primary school graduation speech, where I was sweating and I had a bike accident 2 days beforehand, so I was on crutches.
Wow.
Made it to the stage, and I'm thinking, oh, this is scary. Kids are going to make fun of me, and I have so many fears because I was in year 7. I was a kid, a very insecure kid. The speech went well. Everybody was like, clapping and the whole standing ovation. I went home so proud.
Yeah.
I could do this. I'm going to be the next big public speaker. Oh, hell yeah. That was the plan. Hopefully one day, still in the books. And then, through high school, we used to do a lot of presentations and stuff. And I noticed that I have a gift. And that is the ability to speak in front of people. So I trained myself and trained my insecurities, because we're always being afraid. I'm always afraid of being judged. Or once, not anymore. And the way I overcame that was when somebody makes fun of me while I'm speaking, which has happened a few times, I just stop and smile. But my thought process is, if you are as good as I am, you'll be standing in the stage and not me. And that really changed my mindset. And then I've never had another negative experience since then, because I shifted my mindset. No, I am perfect at what I'm doing. It's a self-belief. It all goes down to how you believe in yourself.
That's true.
And if you're as good as I am, then you will be on the stage and not me. And then over time, I realized that when I'm speaking, people pay attention, which gives me a lot of, I feel so grateful, because it gives me that confidence that what I'm sharing is knowledge and people are actually taking it away and thinking about it, and it's affecting their life in a positive way.
Yes, that's it.
So it's a lot of, I would say, confidence building and a lot of just believing that you can do it, and it's okay to mess up on the stage. I've a few times messed up and just went, okay, let's recap. People don't pay attention when you mess up. They actually don't. Everybody's so consumed in themselves.
That's it.
They come to listen to somebody speak is because they want to feel inspired.
That's true.
But again, if you mess up on the stage, you've connected because you're human. We don't need to give that perfect figure.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing a lot of that, and I'm still planning to do a lot more of it.
Okay.
So hopefully, over time, it becomes something that I can even do regionally. Because again, the goal is just to really inspire people.
Of course.
Because everybody has a lot of potential inside them.
And talking about that, I can go back again. In the school when you started.
Yes.
And also in the public, in the community now.
Yeah.
In front of big stages.
Yes.
Is there any difference, and what have you learned, so that others also who think that they did it at school, they can do it now?
Nothing changes. If you have an audience of 7-year-olds and 70-year-olds, it's exactly the same thing. Because they're people. What I would like next generation of public speakers to think about is that you are a human, and that person's a human too.
Okay.
Which means you connect with them on a personal level. Don't try to be perfect. Because when you try to have a perfect pitch or a perfect speech, you will screw up.
Okay.
Be natural, be you.
Yeah.
And if you screw up on the stage or in an event where you're speaking, laugh it off. And everybody will laugh with you. Because they'll be like, oh, perfect. She's not perfect. That's great. Because we're connecting. And I've gone to so many seminars and events where the speaker gets confused and goes, oh my God, we love it. Because it's human nature.
Yeah.
And I've gone to some where they're like robots. They lose me after 5 minutes.
Okay.
So the best advice is just be yourself, authentic self, and let your light shine.
It flow, yes. Give it a flow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm not satisfied for myself, believing even my viewers are not satisfied also.
With?
Yes, because we have a lot of stories behind.
Yes.
We didn't just touch them because we have little time for this podcast.
Correct.
That's why we have to touch a little.
Yes.
But we will have another time believing.
I'd love to.
We must have to,
Yes.
for sure. Just explaining on the next, because there was the previous one from Iraq.
Correct.
We just ended there.
Correct.
We just jump almost from this Jordan, Australia thing in the middle to Oman.
Correct.
But there is another
Yes.
unfolded thing inside there.
Correct.
When you get to Oman, kids, husband, those kind of stories.
Yes.
These are not for today.
Yes. I know. We'll be here till end of year.
So I'm just keeping them unfolded still.
Yes.
You just unveil it when we meet again.
Absolutely. There's always a backstory for something.
Yeah,
that's
that's
for sure.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. Because
Yeah.
that one is the major
Yes.
than this one.
Yeah. Nobody gets successful overnight.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of trauma, a lot of stress, a lot of sadness and a journey. And then people only see the light. They don't see the backstory.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Thank you. So let me say thank you so much, Dali Atta.
Thank you so much for having
your
me.
time. Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to meet somebody like you.
Thank you.
And it's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our viewers. This was Dali Atta. Right away, I told you, from Oman to Dubai, tomorrow to Abu Dhabi, and back again to Oman. We will be with her next time, believing that she has some stories to share with us, more than this one. This is Elias. This is Dream Inspire, present to you by Dream Properties. Don't forget my production team. Thank you so much. Rocker, the genius, backside of the camera. Thank you so much, and let me wish you a very good time. Nice views. Subscribe. Don't forget to like. Thank you.